Darling, you send me, I know you send me. Darling, you send me.
A new whip. You just have to get it out of here. Under all the other new bikes. Literally bikes everywhere. Half built. This is the best time of year.
Pretty old, so almost.
Damn! Pretty excited.
These ship boxes are cool.
Yeah, they are sweet. And they give us these sweet wheel bags.
Yeah.
And these nice goodie bags full of saddles and parts. It's better than Christmas.
It is Christmas.
I thought New Kit Day was good.
New bike day's even better.
Alright, so I'm just getting my bike built here in the garage. As you can see, there's bikes everywhere as people are flying in the day before camp from literally all over the world. So it was kind of a madhouse building bikes and getting everything ready. I didn't race on my bike at Valley of the Sun at all since I just didn't have time to build it. So, and here we are at Cyclologic in Scottsdale, Arizona for our bike fits. The team, we spent 3 days getting bike fits here and they were pretty extensive, and here's an inside look of what it was like to get a fit by some of the best bike fitters in the world here at Cyclologic.
Involve bands around your ankles and they'll have you stretch them out in different directions. Yeah. Do that kind of stuff, or clamshells, or
I've been trying to do those and those kill me.
So it's very, very difficult for a cyclist to keep up with their quad strength. Right there, feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, you feel it right away. Alright, same thing on this side. This can be affected by flexibility, but it's primarily a neuromuscular thing. It's just, if it's not good, just how well or how poorly your knee and hip work together during that pedal stroke. If at any point on the back half of the pedal stroke, your hip or knee inhibit your foot's ability to come up and across, the crank doesn't care. And it's going to push into that restriction, and you end up using available power on this leg not to push down on the pedal and go down the road, but to push down on the pedal, hip restriction, lift body weight. And it can be a ton of wasted energy. Yeah. For me, it was 40 plus watts.
God and Spencer will work.
Really? Well, I can tell, like, when I don't do yoga and stuff, like when I ride, especially because I broke my back, like, I get messed up quick.
Your hip is free and clean and healthy.
Okay.
And you're not encountering any restriction coming across the top. If I'm 65 to 70, hip is still healthy, but you're working too hard to clear your hip. And if we get below 65, that's when we're in danger of damaging something. You just get longer. You don't have to get low, you just get long, and then allow all the tension to come out of your shoulders and elbows. But you scoot it forward.
I know, I can feel it.
Now low.
Drops or
hoods, low hoods. Perfect, perfect. I want you to, yep, just like that. You're going to stay with your chin down. You look up the road with your eyes, not your neck. Perfect.
Alright, so we're doing some adjustments to my TT position on the jig before we actually do it on the TT bike, since it's way easier to do it on the jig. Takes way less time, way less effort, and the biggest adjustments are they hold my bars in a little, change the saddle, and I went from a 172.5 crank to a 165 to open up my hip angle, which is something I've always had a problem with on putting power out on the TT bike, so this should help quite a bit for the next TT. Alright, so here's the finished product. The Trek SLR 8 2018. We got the H2 fit, which I was kind of against at first. I didn't think it was going to fit me right because last year I was running an H1 and had a pretty slam, but after going to Cyclologic, you can see they put on the XXX light, 130 -17 stem with 2 spacers still, and which raised me up quite a bit. But the thought process is I'll be more aero riding on the hoods and like the drop position on top of the hoods rather than actually in the hoods or the drops, which will increase my power, better hip angle, and it will also just make me faster for when I'm in the wind or ever need to be off the front or anything. And also going to the front, we have the XXX light Bontrager bars, carbon, the VRC bars there, and I was running 40s, and after going to Cyclologic, or 42, sorry, after going to Cyclologic, they actually put me on 40s, which, looking at the my frontal area picture while riding the bike on the trainer, I'm gonna save a ton of watts. We've got the sprint buttons down here when you're sprinting, and the drops, one on each side, so pretty cool. Got my Garmin mount, same as last year, Garmin 520, but I think I'm gonna get a Wahoo here soon with the K-Edge mount. For 2018, for Gateway, we're running SRAM E-Tap Hydro, which is super awesome, especially today. I rode through the snow, and you could definitely tell I had a lot better braking power. Oh, there's the rotor, the caliper. For wheels, these are training wheels. They're the Bontrager Paradigm Elite TLR wheels with the 15mm through axles on the Paradigm hubs as well. And for race wheels, we're running the Bontrager, the new Bontrager Pro 3s with the Vittoria Corsas. For race tires and for training, I just have the Rubino Pros on here. Super solid race tire, or training tire. For saddle, I've got the Montrose Pro, the carbon railed seat, and a 148 width. And another big thing they did with the fit is they actually slid my seat forward and then my hips back, so I'm actually sitting more on my seat bones, because it turns out I was not even, my left butt cheek wasn't even on the seat, which I was unaware of, and that's kind of why I was getting some saddle sores on the right side of my body. And after going to the fit, sitting on the saddle mapping, it showed that my left side of my body was off the saddle, so for now my left hip was rotated forward. So for me to be centered on the seat, I actually have to have my left thigh, the inner left thigh needs to rub on the front of the saddle, my right thigh needs to not hit it at all, and that means my hips are centered on the saddle until I go to a chiropractor and see what's going on and get my left side freed up a little. So moving on, we've got SRAM hooked us up big time this year. We're going to with the SRAM red Cork D0 power meters that everyone got. So so that was awesome. And another big thing that Cyclologic changed is they put me on 170 cranks instead of 172.5 just to get a better hip angle. So it definitely felt a lot. There was way less resistance in my hips. So same as last year, we're sticking with Shimano Ultegra pedals. Super solid, good platform. There's the red E-tap front derailleur. I've got 1126 on my training wheels. Since I'm in Iowa, I don't need a 28 or anything bigger. There's not too many mountains here, just a lot of wind. So I've got the 1128 on my race wheels though. There's the E-tap rear derailleur. Hell, the stiffness. Trek bumped up the stiffness on this frame, and also having the through axles on the front and rear makes a big difference for the stiffness when out of the saddle. And the frame, I believe the frame is like 50 grams lighter than the 2017 version, and you can definitely tell it's a really stiff bike and it rides really well. So I'm excited to get some races under my belt on it.